What is good, Defenders Nation, and welcome to your most favorite pre-match segment that we do here on Defenders of the Bank. It's the night before a match, so you know what that means. It's time for one more sleep, and it's the 20th time that LAFC takes on the Vancouver Whitecaps. No, not this season, in all time, but it feels like the 20th time this season. So for what I believe will be the fourth time this season, you get myself and, of course, my partner in pod. It's the Scarf, J.R. Liebert, coming to you not behind a scarf wall. And then world famous Film Monster Studios across the globe, around the world. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? That is one Christian Philemon.
What's up, Scarf, and what's up, Defenders? It's been a little while since we've seen and heard from each other, for better or for worse. But as they say, absence does make the heart grow fonder. I know we all got wrapped up in some baseball, and I'd say the vast majority of listeners on the show are probably more excited for Game 1, Mets vs. Dodgers, NLCS. I know I am. I know Scarf is. He's going to Game 1. I'm going to Game 2, courtesy of the day off I have as a result of Indigenous Peoples Day, formerly known as Columbus Day. But Scarf, Defenders, despite the baseball excitement in this area, we have to play the Vancouver Whitecaps, which at the same time for Game 1, roughly, which, by the way, this is a team that if we saw them in the postseason, we would be seeing them in the first round if things ended the way it did. It's going to be chaotic as both teams will be without a lot of key personnel. And look, if we keep winning and the Galaxy lose, we could win the West. And they got something to play for, too, because they're trying to get out of that spot where they're going to be contended potentially for a wild card. So a win is good, and this is going to be the first time we can legitimately say it's the Canadian Championship Cup winner taking on the U.S. Open Cup champions in that of LAFC.
Yeah, I love it. We got a little national war breaking out between these two clubs for sure. Look, Vancouver has everything to play for right now. This is a big one for them. And on their website, they've opened the upper bowl for the LAFC match. Of course, their last home match of the year. They're expecting 30,000 plus at BC Place. And they have everything to play for because as the only other club in the West sitting on 32 matches this season, they could still propel themselves as high as fifth from their current 8th place position. They have clinched playoffs. They are in right now. They are in that 8-9 wild card one-off matchup between Vancouver and Portland. But again, they could climb Minnesota, Colorado, and even Houston. If everything breaks their way, they can finish anywhere from 9th to 5th. So everything to play for this club. And Philly, what you just said, maybe one of the biggest things is that LAFC also, of course, still with everything to play for.
100%. And look, we've had a stellar record against this Vancouver team. We're unbeaten against them in the last 5. In fact, the last time we lost against them, it didn't seem like that long ago, but I guess it was June 24th, 2023. It's when they beat us at home. And you said 30,000 people are going to be there at BC Place. That's going to be a lot of fun. It is their regular season home finale and with plenty to play for. But the question is, and the unfortunate thing is, they don't have so many of their players. We've got 3 key omissions, but we have a deep team. If I was a fan of the Vancouver Whitecaps, I would hate being in this predicament right now because of that wild card scenario, of course, and because there's going to be 6 players not on the roster. But you know, that's the story, and such is the case when you're competing in postseason, not postseason, excuse me, regular season tournaments while part of Major League Soccer.
Yeah, that international window unkind to Vancouver. Ryan Gauld, Fafa Pikal, Sam Adekugbe, Ali Ahmed, Andres Cubas, and Pedro Vite. 33 of their 50 goals scored on the season will be somewhere else. Now, Philly says we're missing 3 players. We're not missing 3 scrubs. We're missing the heart of our offense in Denny Bawanga, our most dynamic offensive player in Kike Oliveira, and Maxime Chanot, who I think Philly and I will probably agree has been the brightest spot this season at center back for LAFC, even though we absolutely love everything that Aaron Long has done. And you know what? Eddie Segura has tried his best to fill in as best he could. But oh my goodness, Philly, missing that much offense and that much dynamism on defense between guys like Ali Ahmed and Pedro Vite. I mean, Sam Adekugbe has given us fits, and we know what Ryan Gaul brings to the table. Yes, we'll be missing 3 guys, but this is an opportunity, Philly, that we know LAFC has to take advantage of in the way of 3 points.
Yeah, as far as the 3 guys that were missing, I'll give you a quick update on them. So we're going to be missing Maxime Chanot, who's over with Luxembourg playing for UEFA Nations League. They had a game against Bulgaria today, although Chanot did not feature. There's another game on Tuesday, October the 15th against Belarus. So maybe he gets some burn there. Kike Oliveira played in Uruguay's game for a World Cup qualification against Peru, played the first half, got subbed out. Uruguay ended up losing 1-0. Uruguay's going to be taking on Ecuador on the 15th. And then for Denny, he played with Gabon as they played Lesotho the other day for African Cup of Nations. He played the full 90, created 6 chances, arguably the best player on the pitch between both sides. He's going to get ready to go again against the same squad they played yesterday on Tuesday. And also important to note, no Jesus David Murillo out because of a knee injury. So got to throw that in there. I know we were asked in the Instagram chats about Carlos Vela. I think at this point, no journalist is asking anymore about Carlos Vela because they know what Steve's going to say. You'll know when he knows. So I don't think Carlos knows. I don't think Steve knows. But I think we're getting close. The very least, I hope so. I saw a comment in the chat, Basic Blurry. I think he said it earlier. Met Vela and Kai at the old middle school. Vela looks fit to play from what he saw. I think he looks fitter now than he did when he came back from COVID, Scarf. So who knows, but not going to feature more than likely against Vancouver.
Listen, they're not going to trot out Carlos Vela for the first time this season on that awful, awful carpet they have in Vancouver. They're going to save him if he plays at all in the regular season against San Jose on Fan Appreciation Day, Decision Day, everything to play for still, obviously. And here's the other thing to think about, folks. Look, I know we're chasing the West, and as long as the Western door is still open, we want to see if we can kick it on through. But even with just a point in Vancouver, it is going to be very, very difficult for Seattle to catch us. So, look, we'll see what happens. A point pretty much, not for sure, but pretty much secures second place for LAFC. And that being said, a win secures second place for LAFC as the worst we could finish. So, look, we'll go through all the permutations, what needs to happen in Carson, what needs to happen here next week after we get the 3 points in Vancouver. Because if we don't get 3 in Vancouver, it's all for naught. So it doesn't matter. We get 3 points. We get out of BC Place, hopefully with everybody healthy, and then we can talk about all the math.
Yeah, and real quick, I just want to shout out Warrior.Printing. Showed me some amazing stickers that he created for us. We're going to get those pretty soon. So check out the Instagram site. Warrior.Printing does amazing work. And thank you so much for the stickers. Greatly, greatly appreciate that. Scarf, I know, I don't know about you, but how many people are really going to be paying attention to this LAFC game when the Dodgers are playing the Mets at the same time?
We will. We know that. I'll be there in the stands, one on my phone, one obviously right in front of me. I mean, how could I want to miss the 20th all-time meeting between the Whitecaps and LAFC? Just in case you were curious, we've played 19 times. We've won 9 of them. They've won 6. And, of course, the last time we played against each other was the League's Cup when the match didn't matter. We were already moving ahead with the point, and we lost on PKs in a 2-2 draw. Just a weird game. But again, everybody missing for Vancouver, big names missing for LAFC. But let's get into our players to watch. Let's see, Philly, out of the 6 players who are missing, we had a shorter list that we could choose from. And I did not put Baby Berhalter, by the way. Philly took a little creative license there with young Berhalter. Look, I know Philly and I feel the same way about his father, Greg. I think what Sebastian Berhalter is doing over these last 2 games for Vancouver is showcasing why Daddy is going to convince the Chicago Fire to trade for Sebastian Berhalter at the end of the season. So I think we're going to see the absolute best from Sebastian Berhalter. He is a player who has scored against LAFC before, and he is a player who I love to root against strictly because I don't like his dad as a coach, which is kind of a terrible thing to say about the kid. He is actually probably a decent player, but he's going to be my player to watch because I think we're going to see the best from Berhalter that we will possibly get because he's trying to show the Chicago Fire that he deserves to be on Daddy's roster. And look, I'm hoping beyond hope that Kai Kamara can somehow get to 150 regular season goals. He's obviously a couple away from that. He's just such a great dude. He's one of my favorite players to watch on and off the pitch anyway. And I am absolutely loving the chance that Kai Kamara gets up on that bad carpet over in Vancouver and puts at least one in the back of the net. I think we are going to see plenty of Kai Kamara, and I think it is going to be for the benefit of LAFC as he'll put at least one in the back of the net.
I mean, that's a fair point, but obviously they are playing on carpet, not knowing if they're going to want to risk somebody like him as far as the knees go. I somehow doubt we'll see Olivier Giroud just for that reason. I don't know, though. We're obviously very handicapped in terms of, I don't want to say very handicapped, not like Vancouver, but, you know, we will be without our players. Quite a few, at least the dynamic ones, but not as many as Vancouver's. My player to watch on their side, it's simple. The man who leads the team in scoring. Brian White, throughout his career, has got 61 goals and 17 assists. This season alone, he's got 15 goals and 2 assists. He is the offense. Now, without Fava Picault and Ryan Gold, you are losing 18 goals respectively as they both scored 9 apiece. And then you got Ryan Raposo there with 3. So they really have only 3 threats on offense, and 2 of them won't be there. Look for Brian White to continue to cause chaos, in particular on the home team's finale. He's a dynamic player, can kill you very quickly, and we've seen him do that, not only against LAFC, but against a lot of other teams within Major League Soccer. Kid can play. Enough said. As far as LAFC is concerned, at this point, it's the Matty Bogusz team. It's the absolute Matty Bogusz team. He is the biggest threat that we have on the pitch that has been consistent all season long. And I'm going to look for him to have some kind of distribution or goal contribution or goal itself within this game. These are my players to watch.
Absolutely love the pick for Matty. We get to see some more leadership qualities out of Matty in this one for sure. And who knows, right? Is he going to play up top? Is he going to play in the midfield? What formation? I think it'll be more of the same with Sergi Palencia in the back, although it'll be interesting. I think it'll be Ryan Hollingshead on the other side this time. So I think Matty will slot somewhere in the midfield, maybe start the game up top and then move there. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how Steve Cherundolo uses him. Look, my key to the match is simple. Keep the train rolling. We have found on this 4-game win streak all kinds of ways to win. We have grinded out wins. We have gone out to big leads. We've gotten some points late. To me, LAFC just needs to figure out, even though we're without Denis Bouanga, even though we were without Kike Oliveira, and even though we will be without Maxime Chanel, we need to figure out how to keep the train rolling. Whether that means that a player who doesn't normally step up on offense has to step up, so be it. Whether that means that a player like Sergi Palencia plays out of position and is our catch-all, be everything on the back line, so be it. We're expecting a solid match from Aaron Long. We're going to need a lot from Eddie Segura. We're going to see Omar Campos potentially involved in the offensive side of things as well. And we need our midfield to be dominant. Maybe even a rare appearance lately by Edward Atuesta, who I promise is still on the roster. I know he picked up a little bit of a knock, but he looks like he's ready to go in this one. I still don't think we see Carlos Vela, but we have to figure out a way to keep the train rolling.
I like it. A lot of people mentioned David Martinez, and he was just recently recognized as the and presented by Body Armor. Body Armor, Matt Halverson. I know we're boys. I know you listen to the pod. Let's work something out. Body Armor and Defenders. But David Martinez selected to the 22 under 22, and not the first LAFC player to be nominated within this category. I mean, David is the latest. We had Mahala, who got nominated in this light back in 2022. We had Raito, who got the nod in 21 and 20 and 19 for that matter. So he has the most nods. It's kind of crazy, I think, about now that I hear about this. And Edward Atuesta was named on that list as well. So just throwing that out there. I know
Don't
Scarf.
forget about my boy Latif. Latif in
Latif, yes, Diego Rossi. And then how could we ever forget the greatest designated player in the history of LAFC, Andre Horta. Unbelievable. Andre Horta, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we had 4 players in that 2019 roster of the 22 under 22, which was pretty cool. 3 of them turned out to be pretty good.
Yeah. Do you hear the crickets, by the way?
I do hear the cricket.
Okay, cool, because I didn't have my headphones on. All right, so we got to go back to keys to the game. Look, 30,000 people in the stadium. It's going to be wild. It's going to be ruckus. You know, Canadians, after piling in the Labatt's and the Molsons, can get pretty ruckus. Not sure if y'all have ever seen a hockey game in Canada, but it gets pretty wild and very crazy. So the key to that, take the crowd out of the game. It's going to be a festive atmosphere. And I think it is pretty darn cool that they're able to even get that many people in BC Place, getting that many people to care about Major League Soccer and about their Vancouver Whitecaps. I love it. I don't harbor any animosity towards Vanni Sartini. I think he's great. And the Vancouver Whitecaps, they don't bother me one bit. But they will bother me tomorrow when we compete against them. 30,000 people, though. You take the crowd out. How do you do that? Simple. You score first. And when you do, and when we do, by we, I mean LAFC, not me and Scarf, LAFC 17-2-1 when scoring first. You take the crowd out of the game. You lighten up the decibel level in BC Place. You make for a pretty good run for LAFC.
Yeah, Philly, Vancouver, a long history of soccer up there in the Great White North, of course, part of the Cascadia Cup. And anytime you can get 30,000 people into BC Place with their Molsons and their Labatt's, it's going to be a lot of fun for them. The last time we were there, we put it on them 3-0. I can't wait to see what LAFC does, the strings that Steve Cherundolo pulls, obviously knowing that we would not have Denis Bouanga, knowing that we would not have Kike Oliveira, the way we're going to adjust the back line. It's going to be a lot of fun. And with that, I can confidently say that I think the defense will hold up, Philly, for my score prediction of what will be 2-0 LAFC. I think we see at least a goal from Kai Kamara and a goal from somebody else. Maybe it's an Omar Campos. Maybe it's a Ryan Hollingshead. Hell, maybe Aaron Long plays striker yet again in the box and puts a banger in from about 18 yards. A beautiful, beautiful goal. Look, I just loved Aaron Long scoring that goal. I think it was a great thing for him because he has worked so hard in a black and gold shirt, over 70 matches, and nothing to show for it in the goals category, although he'll be the first to tell you it's not what he does, but we may see him do it twice in a row. 2-0 LAFC.
LAFC vet in the chat goes, they are not to be taken lightly. I agree. No opponent is to be taken lightly. They did surprise us in Leagues Cup and then definitely currently champions of Canada. But I have to say, being champions of Canada to me is like LAFC winning NISA. I mean, it's just not the same level of competition. No disrespect to Forge FC and Calvary and everybody else, but just Canadian champions, whatever. And yes, Aaron Long did turn 31. The UC Riverside Highlander. Shout out to the Highlanders. These Scarf's back there. Scarf, I know you're jealous of that Scarf. Turned 31, scoring the best goal ever. First one since he was a member of the Red Bull. My score prediction, look, it's I think we're gonna kill him, and by kill him I mean 3-1. It'll be us scoring 3 to start things off, and then why not? Let's allow Ryan Raposo to get his 4th goal of the season. We're going to be man-marking Brian White so closely that he's not even going to get that many good looks at Hugo Lloris. Or maybe even Thomas Saul. Who knows? He played at Vancouver. Maybe he gets the start tomorrow, but somehow in a game of this magnitude, I doubt that. But I say 3-1 LAFC. We continue on. We win our 5th straight game. We continue to hold our place. Keep our fingers crossed that the Galaxy lose their season finale and that we beat San Jose. Because if we can't beat San Jose going into the playoffs, yeesh. But that's how I think it's going to roll.
Yeah, look, full disclosure, my favorite team in the Canadian Premier League, which I swear is a real thing, Atletico Ottawa. That's my favorite team. Atletico Ottawa.
Why couldn't they could have done it in French at the very least?
Should have done it in French, but that's okay. Literally none of them are in French, although they do spell Valor FC with the O-U-R. So
Athletic Ottawa. That would have been far better than Atletico Ottawa. Give me a freaking break. At least it's not like At least they don't have like Real Saskatchewan. You know what I mean? Something ridiculous like that.
I mean, look, it might as well, right? By the way, kind of a cool thing with Atletico Ottawa, their head coach Carlos Gonzalez was the manager of Kuwait for like the last 2 or 3 or 4 years, which is kind of neat. I mean, that's not an easy job. He was Canadian Premier League Coach of the Year in 2022 for Atletico Ottawa.
Yeah, Smarty, no point in starting Hasal. I just briefly mentioned the fact that he played for Vancouver. And look, during the COVID Cup, the kid actually showed up. And I think that might have been the last time he truly showed up. We haven't really seen much of him. That was the only reason I brought him up as a result of starting.
And you got to remember what Philly and I are both talking about is a 2-goal differential win for us, which will really help as well. Remember, we will break down all of the necessary math, all of the tiebreakers after these 3 points in Canada. We'll break down everything that could possibly matter for LAFC. LAFC not getting any help from New England right now with Columbus Crew looking to go to, 63 points, I think, in the live standings, which is really bad for us. But either way, y'all, we got a lot to talk about after the 3 points. So we got to do what we need to do. But honestly, let's be honest. I'm going to have a little something.
Let's be honest.
I'm going to have a little something different on my mind tomorrow as I'm sitting at Dodger Stadium with 56,000 people there hating the bright orange Mets batting practice jersey that I'll be wearing. And then Philly gets to experience that the next day on Monday. Very jealous. My school, we don't get off Indigenous Peoples Day. So I'll be teaching while Philly is cheering on the Metropolitans.
Yeah, I really would have loved to have gone to game 1 with you, bro, but I'm calling UC Riverside's women's team. Tomorrow they play Cal State University Northridge at 5 p.m. So I'll be doing that on ESPN Plus. Otherwise, I would have happily been at game 1 with you. But game 2, I'm fine with that, especially with the day off. I'm really thrilled. I don't want to talk too much about baseball, but I got to tell you, it's I was kind of hoping for the Padres to go through, mainly so like all our friends that are Dodger fans could hop aboard this Mets bandwagon. Now we've got a little bit of an adversarial thing going on. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm just happy to be here. All the pressure is on the Dodgers. Dodgers win, nobody bats an eye. If the Mets win, well, that's on Dave Roberts and everybody else. So I'm good with where we are. I can't believe I get to see Mets postseason baseball. It was 2015 the last time I got to do that, Scarf, at Citi Field. And oh, by the way, if memory serves me correctly, that's when the Mets absolutely beat up on the Dodgers. And although this has 1988 vibes to it, because this was the last time the Mets and the Dodgers squared off against each other in the NLCS, and an 8-year-old Philly had his heart broken by Oral Hershiser. Historically, the Dodgers are 6-9 against the Mets in the postseason. So I'm just going to throw that out there right now. Let's go, Mets. Oh, my God. Bring on the grimace.
Yeah, look, you guys, we're probably the only 2 Mets fans, So, hi. Welcome. This is what it's like for us to be happy. Check on us for the other 162 games of the regular season and most years in the playoffs. Just give us this for right now, y'all. But either way, can't wait to talk about this Vancouver Whitecaps match when we pod about it on Monday. So make sure you guys join us for the recap pod Monday, episode 333. And I have to say, y'all, the cover that Dexter has created for us for episode 333. One of my favorite spooky season covers that we have ever had. Ruben, love the fact that you are wearing your Defenders of the Bank hoodie. That's why we love all of you guys in the chat. Chris Lafferty, keep it down with your Yankees talk. And
yeah, we could all collectively boo him if it happens to be Dodgers and Yankees. I'm not rooting for the Yankees. No way. Listen, that's where you see me wear a Brooklyn hat.
And by the way, for all of you out there that are Dodger fans, bring it. That's what we're here for. That's why I show up to Dodger games in bright orange. We're not trying to hide. We're also not trying to piss anybody off. We're just trying to have fun, friendly banter. You guys have Shohei Ohtani, and we don't. Much. We'll see. All right, y'all. Look, 2-0, 3-1, Vancouver yet again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.